Everything, everywhere, all that it really is consciousness. Our pure self, this Brahman, this Nirgun Brahman, this attributeless self. And many times we're confused. We go about our day thinking that we are this body, we are this mind, there is this world, and I have to interact with it, I have to deal with it, I have to do all these things. But fundamentally, this is only there because we've not fully identified ourselves as pure consciousness. We are always pure consciousness. There is no doubt about this. There's no two ways about it. But we also somehow create this narrative that, well, I am this body, I am this mind. And therefore, resting in pure consciousness seems to be very challenging. Now, if you think about this, everywhere, this all-pervading consciousness, there is not a single place where consciousness is not. That means there's not a single place where you are not. Remember, the fundamental teaching, or one of the fundamental teachings in Advaita Vedanta, is Tattvam Asi. You are that. You are that pure consciousness, that pure self, the Atma. Realize the Atma within. Realize the Atma that surrounds, that's in every direction. There is not a single direction where this self is not, where this Atma is not. Now, if you can experience yourself as everywhere, then that experience of oneness is your everyday perspective, your everyday way of living. So whether it's people being harmed in a genocide in any part of the world, or somebody in extreme prosperity, you are the one that is present in all of that. You are the one that is conscious of all of that. Even if something is happening thousands of miles away, it is still you experiencing that 1,000 miles away. Now, why is it that why don't we physically experience that? That's because our body is here, and there's always going to be this subtle connection that the Atma, that pure consciousness, will have with the body and its limiting kind of form. Same thing with the mind. We only know our own thoughts, and that's because, again, there's going to be this subtle connection that will remain even after enlightenment, after awakening. But that doesn't mean that one doesn't understand, or even that doesn't mean that one doesn't even experience. They do. They experience the expansiveness of their true self. Because this is when compassion comes in. This is when we commit to selfless service. And it's not done for the ego perspective. It's not done for the egoic mind or the body. It's done because that's the flow of nature. That's the flow of consciousness. When we commit to more of a life lived in the awareness of pure consciousness, in the awareness of Brahman, in the awareness of formless awareness, when we function from there, when we live in that light, then automatically compassion arises, peace arises, contentment arises. That doesn't mean that we turn away from the troubles of the world. No. In fact, remember, our dharma is also to speak against injustice of any kind. And I don't have to look far. In America today, there's so much injustice still. And therefore, speaking up about those injustices is also part of my spiritual practice. But one has to keep checking that whatever one finds to be an injustice Is it for the prosperity of everyone or for most people? Or is it at the detriment of most people? If it's at the detriment, then that means my egoic mind is somewhere invested. But if I see it as more prosperous for everybody or for most people, then it's coming from a place of compassion, and compassion is naturally there when one is understanding and in the full embodiment of pure awareness. And then always, that's there is no other, there's, whether past, present or future, this awareness always is. This consciousness always is. It's never absent for any amount of time. You see, avatars can be absent. Incarnations can be absent. But pure consciousness cannot be absent. Brahman cannot be absent. Because it's eternal, it's timeless. It's beyond time. Beyond the three structures of time. Is beyond past, present and future. And that's what we have to be aware of. So it's always here. In your waking state, in your dream state, in your deep sleep state, consciousness is. Brahman is. Formless awareness is. There is never a time when it is absent. And it's in everything. You see, if you look hard enough into something and realize that everything is empty, now really, is it empty? No. Is this microphone empty? No. Because the only thing that is there is this pure consciousness. Yes, because the microphone doesn't have a mind, it cannot have the subjective experience like I'm experiencing. But it's present. If we see that consciousness is the foundation, the substratum of everything, then every living thing, every non-living thing, animate or inanimate, is pure consciousness alone. So when that is given in perspective, then again, there's pure oneness, and again, one will want to have pure compassion, because that's what naturally arises, and therefore pure action, because one does it selflessly. There's no selfish motive. The body and mind is not the doer, and neither is it the enjoyer. So when you see it in everything, that consciousness alone is, that Brahman alone is, awareness alone is, then life is lived in freedom. Life is lived in absolute freedom. One is not bound by the limitations of the body and mind, in the sense of one understands that this is not their true identity, that's not their true nature. But when you start to understand that everything, and that includes you, that consciousness alone is, then automatically you can surrender to this. Automatically. It doesn't actually need effort. It's so effortlessly done that you just surrender to this moment, to the very thing in front of you, right here. Consciousness alone is. In this space is consciousness. It appears to be space, but actually it's consciousness. And that's what the rishis of India have talked about, what the Upanishad speaks about, what many saints and sages from the past to present have been talking about and are talking about. And they're not just talking about it, they're living it. And it's all about living in this awareness. And so, whatever you take from this episode, understand that consciousness alone is. Thank you for listening to the Bearded Mystic Podcast. I'm your host, Rahul N Singh, and please do subscribe, please do like, follow, and and comment if you wish. What's your experience of being in pure awareness? I'd like to know. Thank you. Namaste.